Hi, everyone. I wanted to help separate the signal from the noise a little bit with everything that's going on in the Middle East right now and how it gets talked about. It seems really hard nowadays to be able to criticize any one country without people taking offense that you're criticizing everyone in that country. And that really matters for how we talk about what's happening now with the US and Israeli military actions against Iran. And what do we do about it? And in international relations, where I did my graduate work, there is this real concern that you make what's called the monolithic assumption. Monolithic assumption just basically means that you put everyone into one country into the same bucket, and it has real consequences. And so that's what this video is going to be all about. It's going to be talking about how we're falling into this trap and why it matters. Part of the reason why we fall into this trap so easily, especially as Americans, is our country is founded on the idea that the power of government is derived from the consent of the people, which means that everything our government is doing right now, whether you love it or hate it, is being done in all of our names. Yet, we know from the American context, especially right now, the actions going on in Iran are incredibly unpopular. So, is it really being done in our names or in the names of some rich billionaires? That's fundamentally a question that we are wrestling with. And I think that is really helpful in framing to understand that not everything our government does is truly done in our name or based on popular opinion. Likewise, that is also true for other countries. You see, for too long, we have sort of had this tacit agreement in public dialogue that says, if you in any way, shape, or form have criticisms for Israel, then that is going to be taken as anti-Semitism, as though you are criticizing every Jewish person on the planet. And that just isn't true. Israelis who live in Israel, who are Jewish, have criticisms of their own government. Clearly, they're not anti-Semitic. Likewise, the Iranian regime that is currently in power still, as much as we may not like it, still is incredibly unpopular with most of the people there in Iran. And honestly, the bombing campaign, I don't know if it's making people more or less supportive of their own government if they're going to have to defend themselves from everything that's going on. That is genuinely an open question. I don't think we're talking about enough. But at the end of the day, when we talk about the Iranian regime being bad or evil or other words people use, when we talk about we can't criticize Israel without every Jewish person being criticized, when we talk about not being able to criticize our own government without being considered a good patriot or American, that stops any real conversation from happening about how what is going on in the world or in our own country could actually be better. And that's just one thing I think we should all take pause and really figure out. Do we want to live in this world where we can't criticize the people in power and the decisions that they make? Which, by the way, criticizing the people in power for the decisions that they make is the entire reason why we have the First Amendment. It is part of the core of what it means to be American. And unfortunately, other countries are doing it to us. It is really easy if you're living somewhere outside the United States to look at what the United States is doing and say, all Americans are bad. And that puts a target on all of our backs. And I don't want to scare everyone or anyone, but we know the Iranian regime has spent decades investing in terrorist organizations. Hamas, Hezbollah is just a part of it. And I don't want to live in this world where actions taken that are completely outside of our own control, that are deeply unpopular here at home, paint a target on our backs. I also don't want to live in a world where we can't criticize governments of other countries for doing what they're doing. So I just want to say, I think we all, and I'm happy to help model this, need to start separating the actions taken by governments and the people in which they represent. I think it's fair game to criticize any government for the decisions that they're making, especially right now, the government of Israel making incredibly unpopular decisions to go to war with Iran and the consequences that Israel is going to have to pay for that. The consequences of living in a world where we can't say that Hamas attacks against Israel were wrong, and the Israeli response were also wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's where we need to be if we really want to have productive conversations and start charting a path forward from here. So I hope you'll join me in really in your own discussions, separating the actions taken by governments and the underlying people that they represent. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. A lot of Israelis don't like what their own government is doing. The Israeli government does not represent every Jewish person on the planet. The Iranian government doesn't represent the popular will of the Iranian people. Our own government is acting in so many unpopular ways. It's time to start taking the power to have these conversations back. It's time to start making them productive conversations. Thank you. If you haven't yet, please click like on this video, drop a comment below, and click that subscribe button. It'll help the YouTube algorithm make sure that these videos are getting into your feed. Thank you.